Welcome to page 20 of Excel packet number 4. Today we're going to compare two card collections, Seth's card collection and Matt's card collection. We're given the information for Seth's collection in a story problem, and Matt's information comes to us through a table. Let's take a closer look. Let's read. Seth started his collection of cards with 8 cards. He collects cards at a rate of 4 cards per week. Let's see if we can pull out some information about Seth's situation. His initial start value, or the amount he begins with, is 8 cards. And his rate of change, or his slope, is 4 cards per 1 week. If we divide, that gives us a slope of 4. So we can write the equation mx plus b equals y. We know our slope, or our rate of change, is 4 times x, which is the number of weeks, plus 8 cards to begin with, equals y, the total number of cards. If we had to create a t-table for Seth, just like Matt's table over here, x would be the number of weeks and y would be the number of cards. In the beginning, he starts with 8 cards. After the first week, we add 4. Now he's at 12 cards. After the second week, we have a rate of change of 4, and we add another 4 cards. So now he's up to 16. And finally, after week 3, he's up to 20 cards. And this continues on. For Matt, we look at his information on the table a little bit differently than Seth's story problem. We can see that Matt initially starts with 20 cards. That is his y-intercept, or his initial start value, 20 cards. But you can see he only adds 2 cards per every 1 week. 2 cards per every 1 week. His rate of change is basically a slope of 2 cards per every 1 week. And if we divide, we get a slope of 2, an m value of 2. So when we go to write an equation for Matt's situation, it's 2 times x plus 20 cards to start with equals y, the total number of cards collected. Now let's answer the questions below. Question A. Who will have more cards by week 3? Well, let's take a look. Seth will have 20 cards by week 3, and you can see that Matt has 26 cards by week 3. So the answer to who is, of course, Matt. How many more? Well, let's subtract. Matt will have 26. Seth will only have 20. That's a difference of 6 cards. So the tables came in handy for comparing their collections. But let's take a look at letter C. Who will have more cards by week 8? Well, our tables don't go that far. The first table only goes to week 3 and the second goes to week 4. We could extend our tables, or we could use the equations. Let's write them side by side and calculate the size of each card collection. This equation represents Seth's collection, and this equation represents Matt's collection. Let's see how many cards Seth will have after week 8. 4 times each week, and we know that there are 8 of them, plus the 8 cards he started with. 4 times 8 is 32, plus the 8 cards he began with. Seth will be up to 40 cards after week 8. Now let's sub that into Matt's formula. 2 cards per week after 8 weeks, plus the 20 cards he began with. Well, 2 times 8 is 16, plus 20. Add those up. Matt will only have 36 cards at this point. So Seth will have more cards. How many more? Well, let's take the 40 cards that Seth has and take away 36. He will have 4 more cards. At some point, Seth's collection of cards surpassed Matt's collection of cards. What week will they have the same amount of cards? We'll arrive to the answer of this question by actually graphing the 2 equations on the next page. Let's look at the graph on page 21.